Here in Cape Town, we're behind City Hall and on the Grand Parade, and we're very lucky to be joined by Minister of Public Works, Patricia de Lille, who has spent many years with the late Archbishop Desmond Tutu, or the Arch as we know him.
Yes.
And you've been with the family too in the past few days.
Yes.
How are you, first of all, and my condolences, because we think that the Arch was ours, but he was so much to so many people, and he was a very close friend of yours.
No, most definitely. I mean, nobody owns the Arch, you know. The world owns him, and Mama Leah is so, and the family, overwhelmed with the love and support from all over the world. And as if, you know, what the Arch has given to the world is now bestowed onto the family. And we grandchildren, all of them, you know, if they realize, but is this our grandfather? And so we're all very proud and honored to have met him and worked with him. You talked about the purple, the purple rain day. We always used to listen, who's going to lead the march? If the Archbishop is going to be there, we know the chances of us getting sprayed with gas or with water or what is very limited because they're being afraid of him. But on that day, it just came out of the blue, you know. But at least it wasn't harmful. You know, unlike tear gas, it burns your eyes. If you wet your eyes, it even burns further. And the Arch was just smiling. He was laughing. He was making a joke about it. Yes.
Minister, the last few days and the run-up to his passing, with the best sensitivity that you can deliver it, and I know you will, what sort of time was it? Was it a peaceful time, a peaceful moving on?
You know, I mean, I have been working closely with the Arch and the family since the day when I was the mayor of the city of Cape Town. And remember, he was very sick in 2015 when the cancer came back. And at that time, I consulted with the family and said, you know what, we need to prepare for a good send-off. And let's put a plan together, because we had a plan for Tata Madiba. And so we worked with the family and put a plan together and include all his wishes. And then in 2018, when I left the city, I went to Manus and I said, Archie, here's your plan. Here's the city manager, Mr. Madazaya, he's going to take over with it. Then in 2019, I get appointed as the Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure, also responsible for infrastructure for state funerals. So I went back to the Arch and I said, you know, he said, no, he prayed. So I'm back, full circle. Now, with the family, you know, even though you think you are prepared, we know that it's coming. But when it actually happened, it's still unbelievable. I was there because I was relieving Dr. Mampela, who stayed the whole night of Christmas night. And I arrived at the center at about 6:30 in the morning. And I was just there for 40 minutes, you know. I put Mama Leah into bed, and she was singing for him, my baby. You know, I mean, to watch the two of them, they've been together more than 66 years. And I was sitting this side of the bed, and there was just a little shake on the bed. And then the next thing, you could just see his color started changing. And then I said, Mama, it's happening. But Mama was in her own, and then I ran out and got the nurses and got the doctors in, and then they came and did the necessary certification. But it was also a relief for the family, because especially Mama Leah and those close to him, we've seen him suffering so much, Annika. You know, he was on morphine the last few days. And you know what the effects of that is too. But now the family is content. I'm there every day. We brief Mama Leah and the family on a daily basis what is happening. There's a very good cooperation between the city, the province, national, and the church. We're all playing our role to make sure that everything is according to his wishes. Tomorrow we will just be dealing with the flowers that he wanted to come from the family, a bouquet of white coronations, and that we need to put together also tomorrow. But I'm confident that we're going to give him a good send-off.
I looked at the program for the memorial service, and it's really appropriate and beautiful. But something that just struck me by the account of the late Archbishop's passing is how Malaya got to sing to him. And there's something deeply comforting about that.
Yes. She sings like my baby. You know, it's like a lullaby. And the tears are running down her eyes, and holding his hand and looking in his eyes. And talking to him, but you know, I couldn't understand the words because she's speaking in a vernacular. But it was so moving. It's something that I will never forget in my life.
I hope that all of us can pass with such dignity and in such a gentle way, as you put it.
Peaceful, completely peaceful.
And you've got a big job ahead of you now. You didn't think you'd have to oversee such a huge event, especially in times of COVID.
Well, we do have an interministerial committee, and so there are many other ministers involved. Then the mayor of the city of Cape Town, the premier. So we are a big team together, and a lot of technical support in the church. So everyone is being really making sure that starting as from tomorrow, when the body will lie in state, that everything goes smoothly.
Just one last question, Minister. The Arch did not want an expensive casket, and he did not want full ceremonial state funeral defense force involvement. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. And President Cyril Ramaphosa helped to bring that compromise from the side of the state funeral and the requirements for a state funeral, with the involvement of the military, like with the late F.W. de Klerk's funeral. And the president agreed that the church must lead. So it's a combination of the two, but the most prominent role will be played by the church. And so that was a very good compromise, because that is also the wishes of the Archbishop. In terms of the cost, I'm briefing Mama Leah on a daily basis to say this is the cost in terms of the infrastructure that my department is responsible for. The coffin is going to be the most simplest Jewish kind of coffin.
Yeah.
That is what he wanted, and so we're just carrying out all his wishes. But for me, always what I will remember is that, you know, I think that we need to recognize our heroes and heroines while they're still alive. Because that's what we did with the Arch in the city of Cape Town, was to give back to him for what he has sacrificed and suffered for this country. With the granary just up the road here, the 200-year-old building. So the Arch's legacy will be there for generations more to see. And then another close friend of the Arch, Ravi Naidu, Ravi came up with the idea of building that arch for an arch at the entrance. And that symbolized the Bill of Rights, and every one of those arches symbolize what is in the Bill of Rights. So there's a replicate of that also at Constitutional Hill. Okay. And I remember that day, Arch were dancing and we were all happy. And then we put up his photo on outside of the building. And I remember we didn't tell him. He just called me and said, he used to call me Osie. He says, Osie, baie dankie. He always spoke Afrikaans to me.
Why did he call you Osie?
He always spoke Afrikaans to me. That's just the name that he gave me. And he says, baie dankie, ek lyk baie mooi. And you know, we always had fun with him. I think it's one of the last of that generation of leaders that's leaving us. And I mean, the last one standing really, who spoke truth to power during the apartheid days, who continue to do so even with the new democratic government.
Minister, I need to cut you there, but yes. I think you will still speak truth to power, despite your position that you're in.
No, I always do. I will never stop. I mean, that is, we all of us, we owe it to the Arch, definitely.
We do. And that's a beautiful, yes. very touching insight into his last moments that you gave us, which I think is very comforting. So thank you so much for that.
Yes.
Public Works Minister Patricia de Lille there joining us at City Hall on the Grand Parade. And we're